So you want to know how to find the best electricity rate in the state of Texas. It can be an extraordinarily confusing thing. Switch to my screen here and just kind of walk you through. Well, first of all, the thing you should not do is go to Power to Choose. A lot of people have heard of that. And honestly, it used to be kind of a good place to start, but yeah, it's so darn confusing these days. The reality is there are some energy companies that literally they start an energy company and their entire business model is Power to Choose. And it's based on, kind of different gimmicks and ways that you can manipulate the sort of search results to show up higher, kind of like, showing up on the Google search engine rankings and being higher is better and you'll get more business. Same thing with Power to Choose. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the best rate or plan. It just means they're ranked higher, right? So, and even if you go here, you type it in, we're just taking, for example, the Encore area, DFW, but, if you're in, another territory, Texas, same concept, you might just have different, some areas of Texas have, relative to each other, cheaper, more expensive rates on average, even with the same company. But the reality is most companies are all, about in the same range of price. I mean, you got to go, looking here, 13, low 13s to high 13s. There's really not a ton of difference in your electricity bill. There's a lot of other factors that you should rank higher than a small rate difference. But there's just so much manipulation that's going on here in Power to Choose. So that's really not the best place to start. Honestly, electricity is a lot like insurance. Relationship does actually mean something. And in addition, no matter who you choose and when you choose it, even if you found the absolute cheapest rate, next week it's a different company. There's never staying on the cheapest end of electricity because companies are always jockeying for the best, lowest rate, trophy, so to speak. There's even actually companies out there that you can give over power of attorney and they will manage your electricity for you and switch you from company to company, month to month, or, whatever period of time to get you the best plan. But at the end of the day, is it worth it? Right. By the time you factor in what you're paying that company, because there's typically a service charge, since they are not the electricity company, they just, manage what company you're moving from and to on a regular basis. Do you end up coming out ahead? Well, I can tell you after being in the industry for over a decade, there is actually something to the relationship. And you might get a lower rate, you might come out ahead in that scenario, constantly moving around, or constantly jockeying for the cheapest rate, maybe going from one 6-month plan to another. But there's a lot of risk that comes to that as well. By not going for a long-term contract. Because you're just one weather event. Every 6-month period, there's always a period of uncertainty. The winter polar vortex, the summer outages, or hurricanes in the state of Texas that at any point in time could completely mess up the long-term pricing certainty of rates in Texas. And then when you go to renew, then you're dramatically higher. And you would have been way better off with just picking a good long-term fixed multi-year plan. So, honestly, the way to find the best rate in rate/plan combination, there's a couple of unconventional ideas. And again, from somebody that's been doing it for quite a while. First of all, pay your bill on time, regardless of who you're with. If there's one thing that companies look for, it's customers that pay their bill on time, and those that they do not need to send those, mandatory disconnect notices on a regular basis every month, because they wait until right up until the disconnect date to pay their bill. That's not what companies want. And I can promise you that, customer service departments have that data when comes time to renewal or comes time to showing. Your history, kind of follows you from company to company, especially within each company. You don't really get rid of that. And so developing a good history and a good relationship actually does count, and especially when it comes time to renew. So that's the first thing. And second thing, and this is common sense stuff, number two is for sure. The first one was kind of an insider thing, but be set up on auto pay and e-billing. Most companies do give a discount for that, and they certainly highly prefer it. And then thirdly, really the biggest one is find the best plan for your usage pattern. This one's not necessarily easy, and I've got separate videos specifically on this, but in a short just summary, take advantage of free night and weekends plans if it makes sense for your usage pattern. That's the one where you can come out really far ahead or sometimes really far behind. But if it is good for your usage pattern, you can really win with that one. Again, I got a separate video on that, so check the channel. But and then if you're really high or low, a really high or low electricity user, like small apartment or high usage house, there's typically some plan. Most companies have plans that are unique to each of those situations that will definitely maximize your savings if you're consistently on a spectrum, or even sometimes if you're consistently sort of around an average, there can be some plans to take advantage of. And then thirdly, which is most people, if you really don't know, just find a good company with a solid fixed rate plan. Obviously, I'm biased. I think we're a pretty good option, so that's a good place to start. But again, when it comes to finding the best electricity rate in Texas, it's really just not as easy as trying to find the lowest rate, because first of all, even if you're looking at Power to Choose, there's a ton of companies that are on there because they don't play that gimmicky game of trying to rank on Power to Choose. Again, there's companies that build their entire business model around that, but a lot of the big ones, a lot of the good ones, don't even play ball there, because that's not where you find good customers. And if you can establish yourself as a good customer, you'll get access to better pricing, better rates and renewals than people that don't. So the best place to start might be to just get a fixed rate, establish a good usage history, and then go from there. I think the one thing you'll probably end with, which is of course what you might have thought I'd started with, which is what's the best company? Now, of course, I think Ambit Energy is a great place to start. That's who I've been with for over a decade, and they've definitely developed a heck of a solid reputation in the industry, and over 1 million customers can't be wrong. So that's a great place to start. But yeah, hey, there's a lot of good companies out there. So bottom line is get started. If you have any questions, jot them down below, subscribe below, check out the links below. I've got more videos to really help you find that best rate and plan for electricity in Texas. Good luck with your search.